Let's see if it works. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivyadacharya Ashtotara Shatashi Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, so I'll just chant the verse and then everybody could respond with word by word. Purusha yadimu yanti twadrisha deva mayaya shama eva param jato digaya vridasevaya. Purusha yadimu yanti twadrisha deva mayaya shama eva param jato drigaya vridasevaya. So if everybody could please repeat. Purushaha, persons. Yadi, if. Muyanti, become bewildered. Twadrishaha, like you. Deva, of the Supreme Lord. Mayaya, by the energy. Shamaha, exertion. Eva, certainly. Param, only. Jataha, produced. Dirgaya, for a long time. Vridha sevaya, by serving the superiors. This is Canto 4, Chapter 20. Lord Vishnu's appearance in the sacrificial arena. Text 4. Translation. If a personality like you, who are so much advanced because of executing the instructions of the previous acharyas, is carried away by the influence of material energy, then all your advancement may be considered simply a waste of time. Purport. In this verse, the word vridha sevaya is very significant. Vridha means old. Seva means by service. Perfect knowledge is acquired from the acharyas or liberated souls. No one can be perfect in knowledge without being trained by the parampara system. Prithu Maharaj was completely trained in that line, therefore he did not deserve to be considered an ordinary man. An ordinary man who has only a conception of bodily existence is always bewildered by the modes of material nature. I'll just read one more. Those who are in full knowledge of the bodily conception of life, who know that this body is composed of nescience, desires, and activities resulting from illusion, do not become addicted to the body. Purport. As stated in a previous verse, those with good intellect, suddhiyaha, do not accept themselves to be the body. Being a creation of nescience, the body has two types of activities. In the bodily conception, when we think that sense gratification will help us, we are in illusion. Another kind of illusion is to think that one will become happy by trying to satisfy the desires that arise from the illusory body, or by attaining elevation to the higher planetary systems, or by performing various types of Vedic rituals. This is all illusion. Similarly, material activities performed for political emancipation and social and humanitarian activities performed with an idea that people of the world would be happy are also illusory because the basic principle is the bodily conception, which is illusory. Whatever we desire to perform under the bodily conception is all illusion. In other words, Lord Vishnu informed Prithu Maharaj that although the sacrificial performances set an example for ordinary people, There was no need for such sacrificial performances as far as his personal self was concerned. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 2.45, Traigunya Vishaya Vedha Naistrigunya Bhavarjuna Nirdvanda Nitya Sattvasto Niryogo Chim Atmavan. The Vedas mainly deal with the subject of the modes of material nature. Rise above these modes, O Arjuna, be transcendental to all of them, be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. The ritualistic performances recommended in the Vedas mainly depend on the three modes of material nature. Consequently, Arjuna was advised to transcend the Vedic activities. The activities Arjuna was advised to perform were the transcendental activities of devotional service. Om Jnanativarandasya Gananjana Shavakaya Chakshuvannaditam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karadivachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yet Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinitadanam Vanchakavdrivishcha Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay. So, here Srila Prabhupada in the verse and the purport of text 4, it's mentioning that Lord Vishnu is continuing to speak, and he's saying that if a personality like you, referring to Prithu Maharaj, is carried away by the influence of material energy, then all of your advancement may be considered simply a waste of time. So of course, nobody wants to waste their time. Everybody wants to feel that they are using their time wisely. And usually people do feel like they're using their time wisely. Of course, there's some people that feel, oh, I don't know how to do time. I don't know how to manage my time, and I waste too much time, and so on. But usually people spend their time in, well, I don't know about all the usually, but I guess a lot of times people have to do stuff they don't want to do. Like people don't want to work sometimes, but they have to do that. But at least in relation to their free time they have, aside from work, people spend their time usually how they want to spend their time. So they don't feel that they're wasting their time necessarily. Like even if they sleep for 14 hours or something, they feel they're not wasting their time because that's what they want to do. They want to sleep for 14 hours. Or whatever they may do. So, but everybody, they don't want to feel, practically speaking, everybody, they don't want to feel like they're wasting their time. They want to engage in particular activities that they want to engage in, that makes them happy, according to their concept. So, of course, when it's said here that all your advancement may be considered simply a waste of time, there's different ways of looking at that, because sometimes in the scripture, or sometimes just in ordinary day-to-day life, we speak so many things, but they may not be absolute statements. So in other words, if one, here it's saying all your advancement can be considered a waste of time. Okay, that's a statement there. But it's not an absolute statement in the sense that we know that if we engage in Krishna consciousness, it's not that if we fall away, that everything we did was a waste of time. In other words, we we continue from where we left off. Neha bikramanaso sti prattivayano yavidyate swapamapis dharmasya trayate mahatobaya. So it says that even if one makes a little advancement, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, on this path, and if they fall away, they could be saved from the greatest danger or the greatest fear. So in other words, every percentage or every even little advancement we make is stored, like in a bank account, you could say, like a spiritual bank account. And that, if we're not successful in this life, which hopefully we all are, if we're not completely successful, which hopefully we all are, in our next life we'll continue from that spot. Which you could say is encouraging, but I always didn't like the idea of continuing with the next life. I always liked the idea of just, that's it, going back to the spiritual world in this life. I don't want to continue in my next life. I want to go to the spiritual world in this life. But people like to see things differently, so. But it could be encouraging, and it is, I guess, for a lot of people. In your next life, you continue on, or we could continue on from where we left off. And therefore, Rupa Goswami says that usually people who take to devotional service in this life means they must have had some association with devotional service in their last life, but somehow or other didn't complete the course. So now they're continuing. So whether we had association with devotional service in our last life and whatever advancement we made in our last life, okay, fine, that's all in the past. But we all find ourselves here in trying to be advanced in Krishna consciousness in this life. So we should try to take it seriously and, not waste our time. It's difficult not to waste our time sometimes because not wasting our time means that we have to be focused, and it's not easy to be focused all the time. Like these big businessmen or businesswomen nowadays, they have to be really, really focused, or else they're going to get trampled on. They're going to, in other words, people are going to trample on them, walk all over them, and then they're going to make their way to the top, the more focused ones. So the more focused ones win. That's the game. That's the name of the game. So there's business people that have to be really focused, and even then they may not be successful. There's karma and this and that, but usually the ones who are really, really focused, really serious, they make a lot of progress, and they could rise to the top. So similarly, we have to be focused. And of course, our aim is not the same as the business people, namely money for their sense gratification. But our aim is Krishna. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita about this, he talks about being focused. Vyavasayatmaka buddhir ekeha kuranandana bahu shaka hinantasha bodhiya vivasayanam. So he says that those who are on this path, the path of Krishna consciousness, are resolute in purpose. Means they're determined in their purpose, what they're trying to do. And those who aren't on this path, their intelligence is many-branched. So the trick is to somehow or other not let our consciousness become many-branched. Even if we have to do so many things, which most of us do, have to do so many things, maybe dealing with this material world. We have to deal with our family members and our business, maybe, and our employees, this, that, so many things we have to deal with. We have to manage so many things. So the trick is not to let all of these different things get in the way of us thinking of Krishna. So not to become many-branched, our intelligence to become splayed out. In other words, our mind to be all over the place and not focused on Krishna. So we don't want that. So, therefore, Srila Prabhupada recommended sadhana bhakti. Sadhana bhakti. So there's sadhana bhakti, Rupa Goswami says in Nectar Devotion, sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti, prema bhakti. So sadhana bhakti, the practice of devotional service by rules and regulations inspired by the rules of the scripture. So whether we feel like it or not, we do it. Why? Because we know it's good for us, because our spiritual master advised us to, we just do it. Sometimes we feel like it, sometimes we don't, but we just do it. And by sadhana bhakti, by engaging in sadhana bhakti, we can come to bhava bhakti, which is the preliminary stage of love for Krishna, and then we can come to prema bhakti, the highest stage. And of course there's levels of prema too. So sadhana bhakti, chanting the holy name regularly every day, doing so many things every day, the 9 processes of devotional service, hearing, chanting, engage in deity worship, so many different processes of bhakti or devotional service. If we do that every day, that will, you could say, help us focus on Krishna. And the more we do it, the more we'll become focused. So that's what we want. We want focus, because that's what it takes to be successful. One of the things it takes to be successful. So yeah, not to waste time, we have to be focused. And that takes a little practice. So, although it is saying it's considered simply a waste of time, it's not an absolute statement. It means that whatever advancement we make will be stored in our bank account, spiritual bank account. So another important point is this perfect knowledge. Perfect knowledge is acquired from liberated souls. It says Prithimarja is trained in that line. So the parampara system, the disciplic succession. So Prabhupada makes the point in the purport in the Bhagavad Gita. He says that when speaking in spiritual circles, one has to quote sadhu, saintly persons. And saintly persons means devotees of Krishna. Or those in line with devotees of Krishna, means philosophically. Sadhu, Shastra, Scripture, and Guru, the spiritual master. So one has to quote these authorities. And of course, everything what the sadhus say, what the Guru says, rests on what the Shastra says, what the Scripture says. So yeah, when we speak to people, when we try to give people knowledge, that's good. But we should give them knowledge based on Scripture. What does it say in Bhagavad Gita? We shouldn't make things up. Therefore, Prabhupada said, Bhagavad Gita as it is. There's hundreds of Bhagavad Gitas in the world. But there's only one Bhagavad Gita, and Prabhupada wrote it on the cover, as it is. That's not part of the title, originally. That's not in the Sanskrit. Bhagavad, I don't know how you say as it is in Sanskrit, but that's not part of the Sanskrit title. The title is Bhagavad Gita, but Prabhupada put that English as it is. Because the tendency is to dream up some type of different ideas that don't have anything to do with Bhagavad Gita or any of those similar scriptures, and to preach that as some type of pure knowledge, which people could do. It's a free world. People would do whatever they want. But at least those within the Krishna conscious fold, or those within ISKCON, those within those who are practicing Krishna consciousness, it should be according to Scripture. Not made up, not anything made up. So in the next purport, he's saying that those with good intellect do not accept themselves to be the body. So, there's a verse in the 11th canto, in the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's actually Krishna speaking. And it's, how does it go? Anyways, the English is that those people who consider themselves to be the body, which is just a bag of, different elements. And so that's one thing. They consider themselves to be the body. Two is that they go to a holy place just to bathe. Means in India, there's so many holy places, and by those holy places, there's so many holy rivers. There's the Yamuna, there's the Ganga, there's the Godavari, there's the Saraswati, there's so many rivers all throughout India. And they're all considered holy because Krishna or his incarnations bathe there, or great devotees bathe there, so they're considered holy. So if one simply goes to a holy place to bathe and to not take guidance from devotees, not engage in Krishna Katha with devotees, who live there, advanced devotees. So that's the second one. They think they're the body, they go to the holy place just to bathe. And the third one, they considered the land in which they're born to be worshipable. Means they're too nationalistic. They're too absorbed in their country. They're considered to be, Krishna says, no better than a cow, means like an animal, or a donkey. They're like a donkey. So Krishna is saying that they're considered to be unintelligent because a donkey is unintelligent. I mean, how much intelligence does a donkey have? Not much. They're not very intelligent. And donkeys could also go and bathe in the holy river, right? It's not only humans. The donkeys could go, the buffalo could go, somebody could go, and they do. They go. So a person who thinks like this, they don't take advantage of the association of devotees. They think they're the body. They're too nationalistic. They're no better than a cow or a donkey or an ass. That's what Krishna says in the Bhagavatam. So in other words, there's so many logical reasons why we should accept that we are the soul and we're not the body. The body is just a vehicle, it's just dead matter, actually. The soul's animating the body. And Srila Prabhupada says here that all of this is illusion. To think that we are the body, that's an illusion. That is a false conception. And to think that one will be happy by trying to satisfy the desires that arise from the illusory body, so the body has desires, and to think that one will be happy like that, that's also illusion. And also to elevate oneself to the higher planetary systems, because there's, according to the Vedic conception, there's Earth, where we are, there's lower planets where we don't want to go, a lot of pain and suffering. And then there's higher planets where some people want to go. I don't think anybody wants to go to the lower planets. But some people want to go to the higher planets. Why? To enjoy. The body lives so much longer, 10,000 years, 100,000 years, so many thousands of years. It's very strong and healthy. Apparently the food and the drinks are a lot much better there, and this and that, and everything's organic, right? Don't panic. Everything's organic up there. And you don't become old. So there's so many wonderful things about the heavenly planets. And some people, they want to go. There was one brahmachari in Mayapur, and it's a true story, but he was really strict. He was like, rise really early, 3 a.m. every day. chant his 16 rounds before Mangalarti, and he would engage in serious deity worship, and as a monk, he's very strict with his association with women, wouldn't associate with them. And he would do so many things with a lot of vigor and a lot of enthusiasm. And one devotee asked him, he said, why are you doing this? Like, what's the purpose? Why are you doing this? And he said, oh, you want to know why I'm doing this? I'll tell you the truth. The reason I'm doing this is because in my next life, I want to go to the heavenly planets. And he said that I want to, I think he said something about the women there too. He said, oh, the women are much more nice there, Because that is true, it says that too. That much more beautiful. So he was serious, that was his reason. And he was a brahmachari. In Mayapur, in ISKCON. So yeah, some people want to do this, but Prabhupada says, oh, this is illusion. It's why? Because, what's that verse from the Bhagavad Gita? Martam loka vishanti. So you go up there, you enjoy, but you have to come back down to the world of death. That's what it says. So it's illusion. And then some, he says, perform material activities for political emancipation. So they want to free their country, or they want to do this, they want to do that. So many political things. Or social, humanitarian activities, with the idea that people of the world will be happy. Prabhupada says this is also illusory because the basic principles of bodily conception of life, which is illusory. So Prabhupada, in the purport, he completely cancels out everything and anything that everybody wants in this world. He says, you try to be happy on the bodily platform, it's not going to happen. You try to go to the heavenly planets, it's not going to happen. You're not going to be happy. You try to be happy by social, humanitarian activities, you try to make people happy like that, it's not going to work. That's what he's saying here. So everything that the material world and even the material universe has to offer in terms of happiness, all of this, Prabhupada says is not going to work. So then, so what does that leave us? That just leaves us Krishna. That leaves us the process of bhakti, the process of devotional service. So by engaging in the process of devotional service, we become happy. And instead of people trying to become happy by the bodily platform, bodily sense gratification, or heavenly planets enjoyment, or social humanitarian work for uplifting people, Prabhupada's saying that until and unless everyone becomes Krishna conscious, then they'll never be happy. And that's what Prahlad Maharaj says too. He says to Nrsingadev, he says, oh my dear Lord, I know that if people do not take shelter of you, they'll never be happy. So therefore I want to bring people to your shelter. So, therefore Prabhupada's saying all of these, he's advising Prithu Maharaj that this sacrifice that you're doing is not necessary. So we may think that so many things are necessary in our lives, and maybe many things are, just for practicality purposes, but a lot of the times what people think is necessary is not necessary. It's not necessary. There's so many things that, whatever, I have to have 5 houses, and they have to be in very wonderful locations throughout the world. People think like that. I have to have that. And if I don't have that, I'm not successful. Or I have to have 5 beautiful cars that are very, very, very expensive. And they all have to be, in mint condition. And then I'll be happy, satisfied. Or whatever it is. So people think so many things are necessary, but they're not. It's just illusion. So therefore, Prabhupada is saying that what is necessary is that we become Krishna conscious. And the main sacrifice for being Krishna conscious in this age of Kali is to chant the holy names, Harinam Sankirtan, chanting the holy names, congregational chanting, as advised by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And of course, alongside with chanting, Srila Prabhupada introduced so many activities, deity worship, so many activities we do. So this is what's necessary in terms of sacrificing our time, our energy for something, for Krishna. Not for something, but for Krishna. And this will help us by engaging in this, by engaging in Krishna consciousness. It will help us understand the illusory nature of everything Srila Prabhupada's talking about in this purport. Heavenly planets, this type of work, that type of work, bodily platform, how all of this doesn't really produce happiness. By engaging in the process of Krishna consciousness, we'll actually understand how it's true. How Krishna consciousness is true and it produces happiness, and how other activities, although they seem to be true, are not true and they do not produce happiness. So we'll come to that conclusion more and more and more. Like the conclusion, Bhakti Vedanta, the end of all knowledge, Veda, knowledge unto end, is Bhakti, Bhakti Vedanta. Or Bhakti Siddhanta, Bhakti, devotion to Krishna, Siddhanta, that's the conclusion. The conclusion of everything is Bhakti, which means the soul engaging in devotional service to Krishna and to the devotees. Okay, so does anyone have any questions or comments? Yes. All the demigods reside in the cow. It says that. All the demigods reside in the form of a cow. That's what it says too. You know that? Yeah. So what else were you going to say? I don't think that's true. And the reason I don't think it's true, I could quote Prabhupada. Because it's not that you go to heaven and you enjoy there. Because good people, they go to heavenly planets to enjoy. It means those who are pious, those who do good, they may go. And those who do bad, they go to the lower regions, worlds. So yeah, we have to be careful too, because we don't want our devotion to Krishna just to take us to heaven, to the heavenly planets. We don't want that. Like, in other words, our devotion's not good enough to take us back to Godhead, but it's good enough to take us back to the heavenly planets. We don't want that. We have to be careful. How do you control what? Where you go? Yeah. How can they? It may be like past conditioning. Like, for example, people in India and people in America and wherever you are in the world, there's certain conditioning that you just have, and you just can't get rid of it. It's very difficult to get rid of if you haven't noticed. And like, for example, conditioning within China. I was in China recently, and the conditioning within China with the devotees, most of them, practically all of them I saw, just the basic conditioning of liking certain food. It's a conditioning. You're brought up like that, you're raised like that, and to give it up is just, you can't even think about giving it up. It's just not going to happen. So the devotees in China, they like this particular soup. And it's, okay. Obviously they like it very much, and maybe other people people in India, they don't like it, and they probably never had it before. But what it is, it's like, it's not thick, it's like water, with spices. And in the soup, they put like goji berries, and they put walnuts, and they put dates, and they put like lotus seeds. They cut it up and put it in, and that's the soup. It's very hot, and they take the soup, and they really like it. Or noodles, for example. Devotees there, they like noodles. They just like that. So that's like conditioning. But there's also, you could say, different types of conditioning, not just in terms of eating, but different conditioning in terms of thinking. Like in India, the conditioning, people are brought up a certain way. And maybe that consisted of knowing about all the different demigods. And generally it does, because generally within Indian families there's an idea of demigods. And there may be some confusion. Who is supreme? Is it Shiva? Is it Krishna? Is it Ganesh? Who's supreme? Which is a whole different topic. But alongside with them being introduced to all this demigod worship, they may have these ideas also that, there's higher planets, and there's also lower planets, and also there's Vaikuntha, there's a spiritual world. It really depends, in terms of what education they have. But if they do have this conditioning that, there's higher planets, I could go enjoy there. I could perform this yagya, that yagya, I could do this, I could be a good person, I could give some donation to the temple, and then in my next life, I'll go to the heavenly planets and enjoy. So, whereas people in America, like I didn't grow up, hearing about the heavenly planets, and nor did I grow up worshiping demigods. So my conditioning is not like that. It has nothing to do with my type of conditioning. Or anybody's in America, they usually don't grow up hearing about the heavenly planets. So them, it's like they may give up Krishna consciousness, or they may give up pure devotional service. They may give up the idea of going back to Godhead for, something in this world, some temptation in this world they go for. So some people, they go for the temptations in the next world, the heavenly planets, and some people, they go for temptations in this world, depending on their conditioning or education growing up. But I was referring to, at least, which is quite interesting, Bhakti Tirtha Swami, he wrote a Vyasa Puja offering to Prabhupada, and it's poetic, it's a poem version, but which I thought was quite interesting. But in essence, he was saying that our devotion, he was writing to Prabhupada, and he was saying, Prabhupada, our devotion only took us so far. And he said it didn't take us back to Godhead, it took us to the heavenly planets. That's what he was saying. And he was saying that now we're prisoners of the heavenly planets. And he was saying like that. Which I was thinking that, this is very interesting. And so that's what I was saying. We want to be careful that our devotion doesn't take us just to the heavenly planets. As Bhakti Tirtha's poem was saying, that now our devotion didn't take us higher, it took us to the heavenly planets. And now we're prisoners of the heavenly planets. Now someone may say, okay, well, how does Bhakti Tirtha Swami have the justification to say that? That, the devotion will only take us to the heavenly planets. What's going on with that? So, I'll quote Prabhupada. And me quoting Prabhupada will answer this question: how does our devotion only take us to the heavenly planets? And it will also, it just happens to combined with the question you asked, that some people say that, oh, you could only go to heaven, or from heaven you have to fall down. You can't continue to the spiritual world. So it answers both questions, Prabhupada's quote. So Prabhupada, Prabhupada's disciple Jayananda Prabhu, or they say Jayananda Thakur, Prabhupada stamped him as a authorized American saint. And when Prabhupada, and he was sick with cancer, and he actually left his body. And Prabhupada wrote a letter to him. And in Prabhupada's letter, it said that, he said, in essence, this is a short letter, but it said in essence, my dear Jayananda, I'm feeling your separation. I heard about you, leaving this world, leaving this body. And he said that if you did not become fully Krishna conscious, then you could go to the heavenly planets. And then he said from there you could promote yourself to Krishna Loka. So Prabhupada's indicating that if you didn't make it, if you didn't become as Krishna conscious as you should have been, then you could go to the heavenly planets. So that's what Bhakti Tirtha Swami was saying, that our devotion only took us so far, to the heavenly planets. And then Srila Prabhupada, but it's not like, oh, you're just punished in the heavenly planets. But Srila Prabhupada makes a point that from the heavenly planets you could promote yourself to Krishna Loka. So yes, in some ways we don't, not in some ways, we don't want to just, go to the heavenly planets. We don't want our devotion just to take us there. We want us to take it all the way to the spiritual world. So Prabhupada is indicating that can happen, that our devotion could only take us so far, by this letter to Jayananda. He's saying that if you're not fully Krishna conscious, you went to the heavenly planets, and from the heavenly planets you could promote yourself to the spiritual world. So, promote yourself to the spiritual world. But Prabhupada said in this letter that because you were hearing the chanting of the holy name, because Jayananda had a Prabhupada chanting, had kirtan by him. And when Jayananda, he was really sick and this and that, and he didn't have much energy, but I heard that right when he left his body, he mustered up enough energy where he kind of moved his body, and it landed right on Prabhupada chanting. And then he said he left his body. So Prabhupada said, because you were hearing the holy names of Krishna, I am sure you went back to the spiritual world. So that's what he said. So that's nice. Okay, so does anyone have any other question or comment? That's what Prabhupada said. He said you could promote yourself. He does. It is said that earth is best. And the reason being is because in heaven there's too much enjoyment. And in hell there's too much suffering. So earth, there's like a nice balance. You get some suffering, you get some enjoyment, but it's a nice balance. So you could go to the spiritual world more easy. But heavenly planets are a little more difficult. So that's the danger, that you go to the heavenly planets and you enjoy, right? But there's a little bit too much enjoyment. So Prabhupada said, you can promote yourself to the spiritual world, but that doesn't necessarily mean you will. Just like, for example, you're on earth, you can promote yourself to the spiritual world, but that doesn't mean you will. And similarly, you're in heaven, you can promote yourself to the spiritual world, that doesn't mean you will. So therefore, sometimes it says that people, they fall down from the heavenly planets, and where do they take their birth? Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, right? Shinmatam Gehe yoga brashta bijayate. You take your birth, or we take our birth, or someone takes their birth in an aristocratic family, or a family of Brahmins. They take their birth there. Because, there's enough money, so they're not worrying about their material, needs, so they have more time for spiritual life, ideally. And if they're born in a Brahmin family, then they could be educated and trained with Brahminical principles, and in this way continue. So that's the problem with the heavenly planets. And it's also said in the Bhagavatam, I forgot the verse, but it's there that, or it's in the purport, Prabhupada makes the point, at least, that those in the heavenly planets, they're actually lining up to take birth in Kali Yuga in Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement, because it's so great. So they want to, after their heaven, they want to come down and take birth in Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement because it's so wonderful. So it seems that if there's a bunch of them there and they want to take birth in the Sankirtan movement, then they must have some idea of what it is. And there must be some form of it going on. But the problem is, there's too much enjoyment. So it's probably hard to preach up there. Just like in SanDiego, sometimes it's hard to preach. Or other places because there's too much enjoyment. Yes. Yeah. Even in this life.
That's what they're doing in this life. So at least they know they can and they don't have much interest in bhakti, so at least they can have an advantage. They are definitely going to follow.
Yeah.
But the people who are doing the bhakti also, seriously, and just they want to have harassment, and the same time they're doing the other things as well, they might not make up the that you got here, they will go there and from there they get.
Yeah. I mean, it's difficult. You could go to heaven, we could take another birth in this world, as in a devotee family or something like that. So there's many things that could happen. But, yeah, like you're saying that there's people who just want to do good so they could enjoy good results. Like people, I'll invite this sadhu to my house and I'll feed them and I'll give some donation, this and that, and then I'll enjoy materially from it. That's like I'll get some more money coming back to me or something like that. They're doing it for different reasons. Whereas somebody might invite some sadhu to their house or something like that with different purposes. I just service and Krishna will be happy and different. Therefore, there's some indication. Actually, there's some principle. It says Brahmana Bhojana, which means that by feeding the Brahmanas, you feed Krishna. That's the idea. So Krishna's pleased with that. But as devotees point out, that devotees or Brahmins or devotees, they can't just be interested in Brahmana Bhojana. That I'm a Brahmin and where's the invitations? Invite me over, feed me, right? But it's said that they shouldn't just be eager for Brahmana Bhojana, but they feeding to the Brahmins, but they should also not just be eager to eat on behalf of the Lord, but to speak on behalf of the Lord. So that's what Prabhupada wanted. Okay, fine. You could eat on behalf of the Lord, but also speak on behalf, so. All right, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.